Oh, we do love our Simpsons here on RetroCore. And here we go with the very first Xbox game to be featured on RetroCore. This is The Simpsons Hit and Run. Now you may be wondering why the hell there are bees with antennas coming out of their heads, and what do they have to do with The Simpsons? Well, in Simpsons, anything can go, to be honest. The thing is, these, I suppose you could call them robotic bees, have come down from space, and they're spying on the inhabitants of Springfield. And it's up to Homer and his family and not his friends to find out what's going on.
Lisa left for school without her science project. Can you get it to her?
Oh, do I have to?
You can drop it off on the way to work.
And I have to go to work? Let's do this.
So you could call the game a bit of a Grand Theft Auto, really, considering you can go along and steal people's cars. But it's a little bit more linear than that. So what happens is you go from one mission to another, but between missions you do get the chance to visit various places in Springfield and, you know, play with the surrounding environment. But mostly the main game is going from one area to the next. Now the missions do vary. Most of the missions are based on driving your car like a complete ass around Springfield.
Watch it!
Thanks for bringing me my model of the digestive system. Hey, where's the gallbladder?
I got hungry and it was a fig.
It was modeling clay.
Oh.
By the way, Dad, Mom called. She says she needs to talk to you at home before you go to work.
Oh! Oh, that was too easy.
Please, I'm busy installing asbestos right now.
A nice little feature in the game is you get to choose different outfits for each of the Simpsons characters. Some of them are just there for cosmetic reasons, while others are there to aid you in the game.
Got my mission.
Let's pick it up here, people.
Now missions don't only consist of racing sections, as you'll see right now.
Weird, godless, fascinating stuff going on.
Not now, Simpson. Mr. Burns wants me to run some errands, but I have a brunch date. You know how it is.
Whatever, just give me the mission.
So in this little mission from Smithers, we have to do a bit of platform and action, and find all the things from Montgomery Burns.
Dinghy goes up.
Unfortunately, with the platform sections, the camera does tend to sort of whiz around quite a bit, and it can get quite annoying at times. And there isn't enough manual control over the camera either, which does harm the platforming sections quite a lot, because especially when you sort of jump and you don't know where you're going to land.
Scared and disoriented.
Fans of The Simpsons will certainly recognise this area. This is the tobacco field where Homer crossbred tobacco and tomatoes, or tomatoes. In fact, the game is full of places from the Simpsons series. As you can see here, the Simpsons house, the Flanders house, Springfield Cemetery,
The vibration tickling my feet.
oh, the good old Springfield tire fire, and of course Montgomery Burns as a mansion. And you wouldn't have Springfield without the elementary school. And of course you've got to have Krusty Burger. In fact, there's quite a few Krusty Burgers dotted all over the place in this Simpsons world.
I found my lost nachos.
And where would Reverend Lovejoy be without his church? And of course Grandpa's old people's home. But we all know and love the Quickie Mart the most. And what I really do like about this Quickie Mart, there's actually a few Quickie Marts in the game, but this is actually Apu's Quickie Mart. And on the top of the Quickie Mart they have that little garden, which you may or may not know featured one classic Beatles member, Paul McCartney, and his wife, well, his first wife, Lynn McCartney, when she was still around. So as well as clearing missions, you also have to take out those robotic bees and collect coins. The coins can be used to buy various cars. I really do like this bit. You don't actually get to control this, unfortunately. But it is a game that did feature on the original Simpsons cartoon show. Here we go, so Homer's going to the payphone to get himself a new car. You can actually select any car which you previously bought for free from the payphone, or you can buy brand new cars. And of course, to finish some missions you will need certain vehicles. So let's go and choose Mr. Plow.
I'll pay you in back rubs. Mr. Burns is spying on everybody. We've got to follow him.
Not now, Homer. A new violent video game has hit the streets, and we need to get rid of it before it warps any children with its bloops and bleeps.
But that game sounds awesome.
And therefore should be destroyed.
I guess.
So while this game may not be for everyone, it certainly was enjoyable for me, and you know, I do like The Simpsons, and it's great to see the amount of speech that they've gotten there from the original actors. It really does make the game come alive and feel like you're actually in a Simpsons episode. Control wise, the game controls pretty well apart from the 3D platformer sections which can feel a little bit loose. But overall, it's an enjoyable game, and I certainly do recommend picking it up for your Xbox. And by the way, it does work on NTSC Xbox 360s.
Vengeance will be mine.
Wow, it's the very first time we've ever featured a Wonder Swan game here on RetroCore. This is Judgment Silversword. How the hell am I getting a Wonder Swan game onto the TV screen? Or onto your computer monitor? Onto your mobile phone? Depending on how you're viewing this video. Well, this is actually an emulated version of the game, which is featured on the Xbox 360 game, Escatos, which is basically the same as this game, but a lot more flashier, and actually got a lot more to it as well, with the same idea. So, there aren't many shim-ups on the old Wonder Swan. So this game was very highly rated. But is it actually a very good shooter? Well, to be honest, not really, no. All you do is continuously fly up the screen, I guess that's where you're going, and blast the crap out of things. There are no levels as such. And every now and then, you get a boss character to blow away. So fans of traditional shooters will probably not like this so much, but those of you into real hardcore score attack modes will like this, because that's basically the whole idea of the game, as far as I can see anyway. There doesn't seem to be any sort of special abilities needed to gain massive scores. Just try and blow away everything as fast as possible to get that lovely bonus. Whenever you mention bike racing games made by Sega, you normally think of Hang-On, Super Hang-On, maybe Enduro Racer, and even Manx TT Superbikes, but never Race Heroes or Racing Heroes. Now this is one of Sega's more obscure racing titles, and basically While it does look a bit like Hang On, it is more like Outrun. In fact, that's what it is. It's Outrun with motorbikes. So as you can see, unlike Outrun, you actually get to choose which course you'd like to go on next from a menu screen, instead of just driving straight onto it. I guess if they drove straight onto it, it'd be counted too much of an Outrun rip-off. But basically it's the same idea, and when they finish the game you get the same map screen as Outrun as well. Well, of course with different graphics. Now I've only ever seen this in the arcades once, and this was many years ago when I lived in the UK, and it was actually placed inside the Super Hang-On cabinet. Now whether all the games came in that cabinet I do not know, but it was a Super Hang-On cabinet with of course new graphics for this game, basically along the side of the cabinet. So you could actually control the bike by swaying the actual model of the bike that you sit on from left to right. You know, and overall, it's not such a bad game, it's quite nice. But it's certainly no Outrun. Oh, and the shite just keeps coming. Fighting Masters. Now, my brother used to own this when we were kids. When it was brand new, he imported the Japanese version, and he did actually seem to like it. Maybe that's because he paid so much money for it, but to be honest, this game is fucking shit. So select your character from the unimpressive character select screen. You get the story. In the distant future, the galaxy was dominated by 12 star systems, but whatever, just give it that shit. And into the game we go, and as you can see, I've gone Larry. Yeah, what a macho name that is. No offense to anyone called Larry, but not exactly a macho name. It's like using my real name as a beaten up name. Just not macho enough, is it? So I'm Larry vs. Elva. Shit, whoever thought of names in this game was well said. Elva. Bloody hell. So even just looking at the game, you can tell that this is definitely no Street Fighter. The controls are very floaty, and the attacks seem to just come off at random. There are button combinations, but they don't do fuck all. And as you can see, we seem to be on the same background quite a lot as well. Now what you can't see by watching this video is just how bad this game plays. Oh, a new background. Yeah, basically, you got 3 buttons. The A button doesn't do anything from what I can tell. Your C button jumps and your B button attacks. Now your attacks are just complete random. You button mash that B and it'll come out with a different move every time. It's just completely and utterly unplayable in my opinion. But you know the funny thing is, there is a worse monster beat 'em up on the Mega Drive than this by Telenet. I think they released under their Riot label. I think that was called Battle Masters or something. I'll have to track that down so I can feature it on the next Retro Core. Because it's worse than this shit, and this is shit. And talking of Telenet, here's another one of their divisions. This is Wolf Team. This is Arcus Odyssey. Let's check out the differences between the Mega Drive version and the Super Famicom version, or the SNES version, or the SNES. Hate that name. So you can see straight away the Mega Drive version over on the right has a beautiful parallax scrolling effect, which is completely missing from the Super Famicom version. But due to the higher resolution on the Super Famicom, or the different resolution, you seem to be able to get more text in. But one weird thing about the Super Famicom version of the game, it does run slower. And both these games are running on Japanese systems as well. By the way, the Super Famicom version is running on the American name, which was Arcus Spirits. The Mega Drive version is also called Arcus Spirits in America. So clearly the Mega Drive version has the better map screen, the better character select screen. The Super Famicom version of Arcus Odyssey, or Arcus Spirits if you want to use the American name, is just so much more difficult to play. I don't know why, but they've ranked up difficulty levels so high on this version. I mean, not in a challenging way either, it's a pain in the ass. In fact, so much a pain in the ass, I've actually had to cheat so my entry bar doesn't go down on the Super Famicom screen. So it runs a lot slower, and a lot more difficult to play. But graphically it does seem to be a lot more defined. As you can see, they've changed the fire magic there on the Super Famicom version. By the way, the audio you're listening to is coming from the Mega Drive. Both versions have their strong points and weak points about the audio. The Super Famicom version has much more clearer speech samples, but I do prefer the audio on the Mega Drive version. For most of the tracks anyway. One thing funny about the Super Famicom version is the actual enemy sprites on this stage are a lot smaller. You'd expect them to be bigger, or at least the same size. After all, it is technically a more powerful machine. The placement seems to be slightly different as well. As you can see, there's more bloody octopus in the Super Famicom version, hence why it's more bloody difficult. Ooh, getting a bit saucy this is. Yep, it's a PC98 game. Pretty much all of them feature some sort of sex scene. So this is Edge from TGL. TGL well known for making games with pretty nice animated intros, but pretty shitty gameplay. Surprisingly though, this gameplay is quite nice. And for the PC98 game, it looks fairly decent too. Although the animation and scrolling is a bit choppy, but then again, it was on most games. Music's pretty cool also. So the idea of the game is pretty simple. Just go from left to right and smack the crap out of all the bad guys with your big sword. Or your big pole. It's not a sword, is it? It's a big pole. A big kendo sword. Who knows? Probably just an iron bar. And of course between levels you get to see some hentai scenes, or animated porn scenes if you'd like to call it that. Unfortunately you won't get to see any on today's show because this game is so bloody difficult I couldn't even get past the first stage. I'm not joking. Now PC98 games do have a reputation for being quite tough, but this one, the first level boss is impossible to kill. Just watch this.